everyone, Maya here from MaiStoryBook, and welcome back to MaiStoryBook's Book a Day series. Now, you might notice that I am in a different space. I'm usually filming outside, but today you'll notice that I am actually in a studio. I have been working on creating a read aloud space for us, and this way in our studio, hopefully you'll be able to hear me a little bit better, see the books a little bit clearer, and plus we'll get to see different backgrounds in our studio. So for today, I just wanted to show you real quick. I have some little plant babies behind me, and I wanted to introduce you to them real quick. This one over here in this little blue jar is Chunkles, and I call him Chunkles because he's got little blue chunkies on him if you take a look and see. And this one over here is Fuzzball because his leaves are actually very fuzzy if you were to feel them. I thought at first that he was a fake plant, but it's real and fuzzy. Have you ever had a fuzzy plant before, my friends, that was soft and fuzzy to touch? They are pretty cool. And then last but not least is our little one here, and this is Squash, and I named it Squash because it's kind of cute and squat like a squash. So these little plant buddies are going to hang out in the back with us today, and every day that we have new read alouds, you might see different backgrounds in our studio setup. This is our big friend here, Bamboo, because his leaves kind of remind me of bamboo. Have you seen bamboo before? Yeah, so you might get it. Well, the reason that we have plant buddies in our background today is because our book, featured book of the day for the first day of our Book a Day series is Florette. And this book is about the magic of nature, which is why I have some nature things going on behind me today. Now, I know that a lot of us have been probably spending a lot of time indoors because of the quarantine. There's a virus going around, so many of us aren't supposed to go outside because it's not as safe for our health. But I know that even though we can't go to stores and stuff, some of us are still allowed to go outside and walk in nature. My friends, do you go on walks? Who do you walk with? Ooh. And what kinds of things do you see on your walk in nature? I know where I live, I see lots of plants and beautiful flowers, especially because it's springtime, and I see lots of trees too. But you know, my friends, in some places, and maybe in the place where you are, when you go outside, there's not a lot of nature to see. Maybe it's just a lot of buildings or maybe even just dirt. But in some places, there's not a lot of plants around. Well, in today's story, we're going to read about a little girl who actually moves from a place that has a lot of plants in nature to another place that really doesn't have any. And we're going to see, how does she handle this? Because this girl really likes the wildlife and nature. My friends, have you ever had to move before? Maybe move to a different house or to a different school or even a different city or state or country? It's a big change, isn't it? There's a whole bunch of stuff to get used to. But I know that sometimes it helps if you bring along a little thing that reminds you of your home from before. Then it helps it feel more familiar. Well, as I was mentioning, this is book 1 in our new Book a Day series this week, where I will be reading an interactive read aloud every day of the week. Because on Wednesday is April, so we're starting a new month of April, and April is the month of Earth Day and Poetry Month, and Easter's in April if you celebrate Easter. We're going to have some Earth, Poetry, Easter-themed read alouds this week. Okay, friends, are you ready to begin? Let's get started. So the title of this week's featured read aloud is Florette, written and illustrated by Anna Walker. So remember, one name on the cover means that person wrote all of the words and drew all of the pictures. And there are some beautiful pictures of nature in this story, my friends. I think you can even just tell from the cover. So Florette, let's go ahead and take a look at this cover, my friends. And what do you notice? Yeah, I see kind of this glass wall, And behind the glass wall is a whole bunch of plants and nature. And then there's some little characters on the bottom. So characters are the people or animals in the story. So do you see the characters? Who are they? Yeah, it looks like one is a little girl in some overalls. And then there's a little dog friend too. And what does she have in her hand? Can you see that? She has a little twig, right? Or a little piece of the nature. So I see this little girl, a dog, and what are they standing on, my friends? the ground, and the ground is made out of concrete or cement, right? Now I know usually there's not like a big forest or jungle right next to the cement. That is kind of strange to me. So that's a little confusing. I'm wondering what that's all about. Okay, before we get started, are there any wonderings you have about what this story might be about or what might happen? Those are some great wonderings. Okay, well, let's find out what happens. So this, my friends, are the end papers. Again, remember, these are just the pages that are right on the back of the covers. So before you even start turning the pages, and I just wanted to show you this one because look at all of those green, beautiful leaves. My friends, do you have a favorite type of plant? I really like vines, my friends. So vines are those plants that have like those long tendrils that the leaves spread down and grow really long, and you can drape them across the bookshelves or things. I'm hoping to get a vine to add to our studio, actually. So here's our title page, and remember the title page has our title and the author and illustrator, Anna Walker. I see our little characters here again, the little girl and her doggy friend. And what do you notice about the title, my friends? It's not just plain letters, it's got flowers growing all over it, huh? Here we go. When May's family moved to the city, May wanted to bring her garden with her. So where are they moving to? The city, my friends. What do you know about the city? The city has a lot of tall buildings, right? There's usually a lot of people. It's very crowded usually, and the buildings are also really close together, huh? And since the buildings are so close, do you think that means there's a lot of room to have a garden? But it sounds like May here has a garden, which tells me that she really likes plants, right? And she wants to bring it with her. Do you think she'll be able to bring her garden with her? Maybe not in the city. Well, this page also shows me who is in May's family. Who does she have in her family, my friends? Yep, she's got a dad, a mom. She's even got a little sister, looks like her little baby. And there's her pup. So this looks like the new place she's going to live in, right? The city. Look at all those tall buildings. Do you see a lot of nature in this city, my friends? A lot of green nature? Not really, huh? I see some trees down here, but do they have a lot of leaves? They don't even have that many leaves. Her mother said she could make a new garden, but there is no room among the crowded buildings for apple trees and daffodils. Daffodils are those beautiful yellow flowers. And apple trees. My friends, have you ever picked an apple from a tree? They are so sweet and juicy when you do. No wonder May misses it so much. So this is her new home. What else do you see, my friends, in her new space she's living in? Yeah, it looks like she lives way up the top. She's not on the ground. She has a balcony. And there's some people down here. It's not a lot of nature like we said. Well, instead of winding paths and leafy hiding spots, all May found was a cranky cat. So cranky means grumpy cat. And if I look at the picture here, my friends, is it a real cat? No, right? It's a statue of this lion. A lion is a big type of cat. And boxes. Lots of boxes. May missed playing with her friends, listening to the birds and the apple trees, and gathering things for her treasure jar. So it sounds like there's all these things that she did outside, played with friends, heard birds sing, got things for her treasure jar, all things she did outside with lots of space and in nature. And if you look closely, I see some things on her windowsill. I'm thinking those might be some things from her treasure jar. What do you see that she's got there? My friends, do you have a treasure jar? What do you keep in there? Or what would you put in there if you had one? Well, if you don't have one, my friends, I'd suggest that you start one. You just get a little jar, and then whenever you go outside, if you find something special, you just take it back in with you because it's a treasure. So there's no nature that she can find. So what does she decide to do, my friends? It's like she's drawing her own with chalk. Have you ever used chalk to draw pictures on the sidewalk? Yeah. What kinds of things do you like to draw? Cool. She longed to chase butterflies in the wavy grass. She drew her own butterflies. Since she can't do it, she's going to do it on her own, make her own. It's kind of creative. What other animals is she drawing? Yeah, some bees, dragonflies. I see some other kids kind of watching what May is doing. What do you think they're thinking? Yeah, they kind of have surprised looks on their faces. But the rain washed them away. All her beautiful nature she drew. So she set up a picnic, something you do outside on a grassy field. Have you had a picnic before? What do you do at your picnics? Sounds like fun. And if I look, I see that she drew kind of nature on the boxes instead, right? Apple trees and the flowers. So she set up this picnic, but I'm seeing it in the store. It has a dot, 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 which means something's going to happen next on the other page. And if it follows this pattern, if she made something, it went away, she's trying something else, what do you think is going to happen to this picnic? But the apple tree fell over and the daisies went missing. What happened to the daisies? Dad needed the box, huh? Wow, my friends, but look at what she did to all the other boxes. She is determined to bring back her garden and love for nature to this new place. May was tired of those boxes. Down below, people moved like ants, winding through the streets. They must be so far down, which means she's way high up if they look that small. Beyond them, May spied an open space. A space with trees and a swing. When May's mother was ready to go out, May ran downstairs and led the way on a new path. What did she see, my friends, from her window? Sounds like maybe it was a park. Yeah, well, here they go, going on to discover what May saw. Let's see what it is. Well, she turned the corner and walked over a bridge. Between the buildings. These pages kind of remind me of It's Not All Rainbows, right? Where that part where you follow the pathway the unicorn took all the way through the park. That's a good connection. Between the buildings and under lampposts, so under these big lights, until she came to the park. A park filled with tiny stones and empty chairs. Does that look like a very fun park to be in? You think that's what she was imagining when she thought she saw a park? How do you think she's feeling right now? Maybe a little disappointed. May drew a daisy in the pebbles. She listened to the hum of the city and the rustle of a tiny bird. But wait, it was an apple tree bird. Wait, if there's an apple tree bird, what must also be around there then? Apple trees, right? And how could she find the apple trees? Maybe follow the bird. The bird took flight, and May quickly followed, only to see it disappear. Dot, dot, dot. Oh, that means it's going to continue on the next page, my friends. Do you think this bird disappeared for good and she can't ever find it or the apple trees? I hope not. What did she find? This looks like that beautiful forest from the cover of our book, right? Kind of looks better than an apple tree to me. So the bird disappeared into a leafy forest. Here is this whole entire forest, my friends, in the city. Even the forest, though, is in a building, right? Because it's a city. And I notice here that on the walls of this glass building, it says Florette, the title of our book. Look at May here, my friends. How does she feel now? Not so disappointed anymore, huh? Probably surprised. But the forest was closed. May waited and waited. The bird did not come out. May stared at the entrance for a very long time. What do you think she's thinking now? She probably wants to get in there, but then she noticed. What did she notice, my friends? Before I read it. She's got something there, huh? A little leaf in her hand. So then she noticed a small green sprout peeking through a gap. So a gap is like a tiny little space in the wall or something. there's a little piece of this forest poking out. It was a piece of forest. Well, May walked back around the corner, and she hopped over tiny stones and past empty chairs. She weaved through the streets and under the lampposts. Sounds like she's going home. And taking that same pathway, but this time, my friends, if I take a close look at her face, how is she feeling? She looks pretty happy, huh? And back over the bridge. At home, May held her new treasure up to the light, and on her windowsill was her jar. So it seems like she found a new treasure. What do you think she's going to do with it? Let's see. Hey, what is she doing with it, my friends? What is she doing with her treasure and jar? It looks like she's planting it, right? What steps is she taking to plant it? How does she plant it? What does she do? So, a small jar with enough space for a plant to grow. So she put soil in her jar. She watered the plant, and it looks bigger, right, my friends? It looks like it's growing. And I'm noticing that the other kids who are kind of looking at her and watching what she was doing, it looks like they're helping out. They're helping her grow this plant. She's making some new friends. So now she has this jar, perfect size for a plant to grow in May's new garden. Wow, my friends, look at all of these plants now. It seems to me like that first plant inspired her to start planting her own plants. And can she plant them right in the ground like she probably did at her other garden? She can't put them in the ground because there's no soil on the ground. So what does she do instead? She puts them all in different pots. That is a great way to grow a garden. My friends, kind of like how I have my plant babies back here in little pots because I can't stick my plants in the ground in my room. That's not going to work. But you can put them in little pots, and that's a new way to grow a garden in a space where you might not have dirt to grow it. And is the garden just for her? No, I see so many other children enjoying the garden. And how do they feel about the nature? Really excited about it too, huh? Look how happy they look. I know when I'm surrounded by beautiful plants, that makes me super happy also. My friends, do you have plants inside your house in pots? If you don't, maybe you can make your own like her. Just get a little jar and stick a plant in it from outside with soil and water it. And if you do already, then make sure you take good care of them because they're making your space so beautiful. The end. And here's our beautiful end pages with the forest. All right, my friends. So that was our story, Florette, first book in our Book a Day series this week. And my friends, what was your favorite part? Yeah, that's a good part. I loved at the end where it showed all these beautiful plants that she made. And I also liked how even though she had to leave her garden and she was kind of upset, she always tried to look for new ways to bring the garden to her, right? She tried drawing it on the cement. She tried drawing it on the cardboard boxes. She tried finding a park. And then it was a little bird who kind of led her to this forest that was all closed off. So people couldn't even enter the forest. Seems a little weird, right? Because people should be able to enjoy nature when they want to. But then she found a little sprout and brought it back home to start a garden of her own. That's taking action to get what you want and what you need done. My friends, do you have a garden at home or maybe at your school? What kinds of things do you grow in it? Wow! I have a little tiny garden with some herbs and some vegetables that you can eat. I have tomatoes and some basil, and I even grew some sweet potatoes one time. And I also have lots of flowers and some fruit trees in our backyard too. So I love having my garden, and I would be very sad if I had to move too away from my garden. But I guess I could just bring some potted plants like May found out to do. Okay, my friends, well, this week we'll also be reading some other books about caring for the earth and some of the wonders of Earth since Earth Day is in April. So I want you to be thinking about what are some ways you can help the earth and appreciate nature. Maybe today or tomorrow you can go out on a nature walk where you walk around and you really pay attention to all of the nature and plants and wildlife around you. And remember, if you find something really cool, like a special rock or maybe something shiny or a special leaf that already fell off a plant, because you probably don't want to pick it off, take it home and make your own little treasure jar. And if you do find something to add to your treasure jar, I would love to see what it is, so please reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram, on YouTube, on the blog, email me, all of those links you can find down below. I love to see what treasures you collect in your own nature walks. Also remember, usually at the end of our read aloud, I do have a craft to share with you, as I am trying to film a bunch of these read alouds and try to figure out online teaching for my third graders. And setting up this beautiful space. I haven't gotten to the crafts just yet, but they are coming, so keep checking back in to see when the new craft is available. I will update the description down below to let you know there's a new craft, and I also will announce it on Instagram and all my social media platforms and my newsletter. If you subscribe to the newsletter on the blog, you'll get notified whenever a new video and a new craft comes out. So keep in touch. There's some fun activities coming your way. All right, my friends, well, that brings us to the end of today's Book a Day reading. And tomorrow I'm excited for our new read aloud and to be back in our studio with maybe some other decorations going on back there tomorrow. So make sure you check back in. The videos are released at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you check which time zone you are in to know right when the video is released. Okay, friends, well, I hope you enjoyed our new reading space, this read aloud. I can't wait to see you tomorrow for a new reading adventure. Thank you so much for joining me on these reading adventures and exploring books together. I'm glad that we can do this together while we are all going through these times at home and all of these changes. I really admire all of you and all of your families for doing the best you can in these times, taking care of each other, finding ways to stay healthy, finding ways to keep reading, and just finding ways to love and be there for one another. Well, it's time to say goodbye, my friends. So until next time, until tomorrow, I hope you have a great rest of your day. My plant babies are going to miss you too. They'll make some other appearances also, so don't worry, they'll be around. But until tomorrow, my friends, happy reading!